Good morning, Bhante.
Good morning.
Morning, Bhante.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bhante.
Good morning, Bhante.
Good morning. Hello, Chatri.
Yes, Bhante, I'm here.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm here. I don't see a question in the chat, but maybe.
You know,
Hello?
you remember last week we did not answer some questions?
Yeah, so let me just see the questions. Yes, there was one question that was left over. It's the question was, is it possible through our practice to undo our past conditioning, or do we just manage our past conditioning? Without becoming enlightened, can we become fundamentally happy or a joyful person? So the question is about our past is bringing some conditioning to the way we approach life, and is it possible to change this, to manage it, and also, can you be fully happy if you're not enlightened? Can you comment on this, Bhante, please?
You cannot be totally happy without attaining enlightenment. You can be happy relatively to some extent, even without attaining enlightenment. For instance, when you attain the 4 jhanas, you will be experiencing happiness in this very life. Buddha called it Ditta Dhamma Sukha Vihara. 4 jhanas brings happiness in this very life. Ditta Dhamma Sukha Vihara. But if you manage to overcome all your defilements and attain full enlightenment, then you can have full, complete, perfect peace and happiness. Until then, you have a certain degree of happiness through the practice of 4 jhana. Then arupa jhana is called Santa Vimukha, Shanta liberation. Arupa jhanas. 4 rupa jhanas are called Ditta Dhamma Sukha Vihara. So you have relative happiness and shanta, peaceful liberation. But when you destroy all the defilements, then you will have, you attain Ditta Dhamma Sukha Vihara, Shanta Vimukha, and perfect peace and happiness. These are the 3 stages. 2 stages are mundane. The last stage is supramundane. But when you combine together, you will have perfect peace and happiness. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. We have a question asking to explain again the various kinds of right effort. Could you
Right
please go over
effort.
this again?
I think we mentioned right effort several times. I don't mind explaining it again. We have to be very, very much stick to the Buddha's teaching. That is, when you look at the Noble Eightfold Path, the 6th step is right effort, Samma Vayama. There are 4 types of right effort. One is right effort to prevent unarisen, unwholesome mental states. That's called restraining effort. That means if you did not have any unwholesome mental states, don't try to introduce it to yourself. Let it remain dormant or unarisen. Just like don't awake sleeping tigers, sleeping lions. Let it be so. That means if you have not started taking illicit drugs, for instance, don't start it even to try. If somebody asks you, somebody may not be a good friend. He might be taking drugs, illicit drugs, and might say, well, come on, let us try. Without trying, how can you say whether it is good or bad? Try it. If you have never tried it, don't start it. If you have not, you are practicing the principle of not killing, don't start it. If you are not telling lies, and somebody might try to encourage you to tell you white lie, you may say, no, I don't want to tell you a white lie. Don't start it. And so forth. If you have not committed sexual misconduct, and somebody says, come on, this is only one life, you are still young, enjoy your life, have this. Then you say, no, I don't want to start it. I want to remain like this, as I am. Like that, whenever unknown something is not arisen in your mind, or even somebody is trying to encourage you to have unarisen, unwholesome mental state, don't try to do that. That is one determination, committed effort. That's called prevention. As always we hear very often, prevention is better than cure. Once you start, it will be difficult if you have not taken drinks, alcohol, and somebody might say, come on, have a social drink. Don't be square. Join us. You say, no, I don't want to start it. Because once you start even with one peg, your body requires more. Then you add two. Then body requires more. And you add more and so forth and so on. Don't start it. That's called prevention. Prevention. Effort to prevent. This is a very good example. I think this example will make it clear to you. Second is, however, at a weak moment, because of somebody's persistent persuasion, you might try. Then you must tell yourself, gee, I'm so foolish, I have seen the danger of this, but because of so and so I started it, I never want to do it. So you overcome that, prevent it, and overcome that, and never repeat it again. That is the second effort to overcome already arisen unknown mental state. All these examples I gave you earlier, you may try it once, and then you must stop it right away. Prevent, overcome that. Third effort is the effort to arouse wholesome mental state. For instance, you have a good friend who introduces you to meditation, and you start meditation, and then you see the benefit of meditation, and then you keep practicing, and you practice patience, then you know the benefit of patience, seeing that you arouse that. And then likewise practicing moral principles, living friendliness, compassion, all these things you may not have a strong inclination towards them, but then arouse them, encourage them to encourage yourself to arouse them. Once they try to, then you repeat it again and again at any cost. Don't give up. That is the fourth effort. These are the four efforts. One is to prevent, second is to overcome, third is to arouse wholesome mental states, fourth is repeating, developing, cultivating the wholesome mental states once arisen in your mind. These are the four kinds of effort, and these efforts, Buddha said, help us to liberate ourselves from suffering. And Buddha said in Samyutta Nikaya, viriyena dukkhaṃ accheti. Viriyena dukkhaṃ accheti. By effort, you cross over or destroy your dukkha, suffering, the cause of suffering, and so on. Yoshi, okay, next question.
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is, sorry. Yesterday, clear comprehension was mentioned in relation to the 5 aggregates. Could you please explain how the 5th aggregate, consciousness, is defined?
Consciousness is a mental state that become aware of what is happening in the body, mind, feeling, perception, and so forth. They are called what you call vijnana. There are 6 kinds of vijnana: chakku vijnana, sota vijnana, gana vijnana, jiva vijnana, kaya vijnana, mano vijnana. Vijnana is knowing. For instance, chakku vijnana, when the eyes and visual objects come together, there arises consciousness to identify eye and the visual objects. That is eye consciousness. Similarly, when you hear a sound, you know the ear and the sound come together, you have ear consciousness. Nose and smell, nose consciousness. Tongue and taste, tongue consciousness. Body and tangibles, body consciousness. Mind and mind objects, mind consciousness. All these are consciousness. All these are aware of themselves and their objects. For instance, mind consciousness becomes aware of the mind and mind object. Mind consciousness is the most powerful because even though mind knows everything, until we become conscious of the mind, we may not be able to see the working of our mind. And therefore this consciousness is very important. Now, I don't think I spoke of clear comprehension of the mind consciousness, but I mentioned when one has unwholesome mental states, then one must make extraordinary desire. That's called adhimatto chando. Then we must have virya, effort, and then adhimatto chando, virya, then sampajanya, sati, and indefatigability, and extraordinary effort. Extraordinary effort. All these must bring together to overcome unwholesome mental states. That's what I mentioned yesterday in Sachitta Sutta. Sachitta Sutta. Looking at one's own mind, one will first identify it and then immediately make effort to overcome them, that unwholesome mental states. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is bare awareness, that is the pure chitta, permanent?
Nothing is permanent. Bare awareness is also going through these three stages: rising moment, peak moment, and passing away moment. Upada Titi Bhanga. Upada Titi Bhanga. Arising, reaching the peak, and passing away. And therefore, nothing is permanent. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is the energy or what many call the soul that continues from one life to another and carries the karma with it. Is that the same as consciousness or vijnana?
No. No, vijnana doesn't carry from one life to another. There was a monk called Sati in the Buddha's time. He had this pernicious view, wrong view, that it is the same consciousness that goes from life to life. Buddha called him and reprimanded him and said to him, Sati, whom have you heard me telling that same consciousness going from life to life? I have never said that, Buddha said. I have never said that. But consciousness arises moment by moment and then it passes away. Like Buddha gave a simile of fire. When the fire is fueled by the grass, is called grass fire. When there is a house on fire, it is called house fire. When there is cow dung burning, it is called cow dung fire, and so forth. Similarly, when the eye and visual objects come together, eye consciousness arises, and so forth, as I mentioned earlier. Now, therefore, it is not the same consciousness that carries karma from life to life. But it is very strange that this is what the Buddha so nature unknown, neither the same nor different moment. For instance, when consciousness arises, reaches its peak and passes away, there is a karmic energy. It is not like physical energy. This karmic energy which reproduce another karmic moment and previous karmic moment passes away. The second reproduced karmic energy carries the potential of the previous karma. So that is karmic potential arises from moment to moment through the consciousness that arises from moment to moment. And that is how the consciousness, the karma transform from one life to another. We don't think the same consciousness carries from one life to the other, but one transforms into another, and that transforms into another, that transforms into another, and therefore it is the transformation of one conscious moment with karmic potential that carries to the next life. And therefore it is wrong to say the same consciousness or vijnana goes from life to life. Not the same. Neither different. It is not different because the new conscious moment arises depending on the previous one, and the previous one disappears, new one appears, and new one is not the same as previous one, nor is it different, totally different from the previous one. This is an extremely subtle moment that most people cannot understand. But Buddha's explanation we can understand when we develop our practice, meditation practice, develop our insight, and arouse our wisdom. This is seen through wisdom. Wisdom is another very powerful mental state that can penetrate all the dark spots in the mind to see the reality. That is why when the Buddha teaches Dhamma, somebody would say, Andhakareva telapajyotandaraya chakkumanto rupani dakinti. Just like you light a lamp for someone with good eyesight to see objects in the dark. Objects are in the dark. Even though you have eyesight, you cannot see it until you have light. That light is wisdom. That is why when the Buddha attained enlightenment, he said, Chakkumudapadi. Chakkumudapadi doesn't mean that he had a third eye. Of course, figuratively you can say third eye, not literally. Third eye means wisdom, and wisdom arose in him. And wisdom show anyone which something to see something that he has not seen before, so long as he has ignorance. So through wisdom, this whole subtlest mental state, subtlest series of events, you can see clearly. And therefore you need the practice. Okay? Next
Thank you,
question.
Bhante. The next question is, what is the difference between mindfulness and concentration? Is there a difference in the jhanas in other religions and right concentration?
The difference between mind,
Yeah, what's the difference between mindfulness and concentration?
of course, mindfulness and concentration. Concentration, I see, I have used this simile before. Concentration is like laser beam. Laser beam. You focus, minimize the range of light and bring it to one point. And then you have to have a clear eyesight. Clear eyesight is mindfulness. Laser beam like concentration. When these two come together, your work is done. That means when the mindfulness and concentration join together, you can see the subtlest changes taking place in your body, feeling, perception, thought, and consciousness, because they are constantly, invariably changing, all the time rising, reaching the peak and passing away, rising, reaching the peak and passing away. These three moments, mind moments, moments of existence, repeat again and again. You don't see that normally. You don't see that. Only when you gain mindfulness and concentration, with this combination of this has a great power that is called indriya. Panya indriya, panyendriya, panya indriya. Indriya means the chief. And with that, you have champanya bala, strength. And with this, you can see the subtlest things. And therefore, these two have different function, and yet when they combine together, they create even greater power. When they are independently arising, they have their own power, but when they combine together, they have a greater power to see the subtlest changes in your aggregates. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is the unification of concentration and mindfulness the foundation for building Samma Samadhi?
Right, right. Mindfulness and concentration unite together, and then you have Samma Samadhi. That understanding is good. Right.
Thank you. I don't see any additional questions in the chat right now.
I think these questions are very good. If you have any other question.
I don't. I don't see one, but maybe I can bring up something about the four kinds of right effort, about developing metta. So sometimes we see in the news all these things that is happening and people not acting in such a wholesome way. And so we can think it may be difficult sometimes to develop metta when people act in a harmful way. And I just wanted to bring some attitude I found helpful, and maybe you can comment on it. I found that the most easy way to develop metta for anybody is to become aware of my own suffering, and to understand that the way people act when they act the wrong way is due to their own suffering. And based on that, because I understand how I act when I'm suffering, I can more easily develop metta towards anybody without passing any judgment. Can you comment on this, please, Bhante?
Yes, metta you can practice in two levels, ordinary levels and supramundane levels. That is Vivekanisitam, Viraganisitam, Nirodhanisitam, Vassagga Parinamim, Mettam Chittam Bhaveti. That is the supramundane level of metta, loving friendliness. That is based on viveka, kaya viveka, chitta viveka, upati viveka, seclusion, physical seclusion, mental seclusion, and seclusion from defilement, viveka, and ripening in liberation. Vasagga, liberation, that is Nibbana. That metta would be ripened in blossom in Nibbana. Similarly, Karuna, Vivekanihitam, Viraganihitam, Nirodhanihitam, Vasagga Parinami, Karunankitam Bhaveti. Similarly, mudita and upekha, all these four sublime states we can cultivate at that level. On mundane level, yes, mundane level, nowhere in the Buddha's original teaching that he has taught us to practice metta to ourselves. All metta to ourselves first. But he always mentioned in Karaniya Metta Sutta and various other places, metta you can practice towards others. When you practice metta towards others, I mention it in 10 directions, north, northeast, east, southeast, south, southwest, west, northwest, up and down, Uddham, Adho, Tiryam. These 10 directions. Tiryam means other direction, Uddham means up, down, Adho means down. When you keep practicing this, practicing this, and you turn to yourself without any effort, any difficulties, your mind is filled with metta. You completely forgot your suffering, your pain, your difficulties, and you are full of metta. So this should be practiced selflessly. This is called selfless practice. If you start with yourself, you make a dichotomy. You and others, you and others. Metta practice is unconditional. No dichotomy, no duality. You all become metta is more powerful, more effective, and therefore Buddha recommended us to practice that way, and we want to strictly follow his instruction. Therefore, I think that is a very good way to practice metta, not because we repeat it, but because Buddha said, but it is very, very practical and realistic. So, I think that kind of metta practice is very practical, and I advise everybody to take it very seriously. If it is not clear to you now, you may ask this question again. Again, I will give you the same answer, so that you, even if you repeat 100 times, we have to repeat the same thing so that will stick in our mind. This is the best way to practice metta. Now, then there is another way of may I be well, happy, and so forth. That is a later development. Even when I was younger, even I used to do that. Then later on, as I matured, as I saw the Buddha's way of teaching metta, I gave up my own imperfect practice and switched on to the Buddha's perfect practice, perfect advice. And therefore, that is what I like to repeat again and again. If you have suffering, don't focus your mind on your suffering. If you want to practice metta, using metta, you will forget your suffering temporarily when you practice metta for all living beings unconditionally, and then finally turn to yourself, your suffering is disappeared, at least during that time. And then you will be filled with metta. Okay, friends, I think this is all I have today for the Dhamma answering questions. And if you have more questions, please don't hesitate to ask me, not today, but next week. And let us end this session and then have meditation. I think meditation is also a very important part of our practice. We have almost 25 minutes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you for reading the questions for me.
You're welcome, Bhante.
Okay. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long or large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere, neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so, towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. With this metta thought, let us practice meditation. We have at least 25 minutes. Okay? By means of these meritorious deeds, may I never join with the foolish, may I join always with the wise, until the time I attain Bhavana. May the suffering be free from suffering, may the fear-struck be free from fear, may the grieving be free from grief, so too may all beings be. From the highest realm of existence to the lowest, may all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. May all beings in the hospitals suffering from various diseases may recover soon and return to normal life and practice meditation, understand the truth and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all the doctors, nurses, hospital staffs who take care of these people also find time to practice Dhamma, practice meditation, and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May those who have lost their loved ones may still be grieving, may they be free from grief and try to understand the nature of life and practice Dhamma, practice meditation, and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all those who are in trouble spots, war zones, discrimination, poverty-stricken, and so on, may they also find time to understand the human nature of greed, hatred, and delusion, practice Dhamma, practice meditation, and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all those that are in the northern direction, northeastern direction, eastern direction, southeastern direction, southern direction, southwestern direction, western direction, northwestern direction, up and down. All these beings in these 10 directions be well, happy, and peaceful. May all attain liberation. Okay, friends, that is the end of today's session. If you like to join me at 3 o'clock for the Dhammapada discussion, you may do so, and see you next week. Okay? Bye.
Thank you, Bhante.
Sadhu,
Bhante.
sadhu, sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu.
sadhu.
Everyone.
Everyone Sarnay.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, bye.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sad, sad, sad.
Everyone Sarnay.
Thank you, Bhante. Everyone Sarnay.
Bhante.